should probably not say
Let's
that
do
has gotten live just now.
Nah,
What's
shit.
going on, everybody? I did actually read.
Yeah.
What's up, God? Listen, your boy got LASIK surgery done.
What?
No,
No, you didn't. No,
he
you
didn't.
didn't.
But if anybody did, let me know. Let me know.
You caught me off guard with that. You did. You
Let
did.
me know
No,
if
you
anybody
didn't.
has done LASIK. Let me know. Now, the reason why I took my glasses off, I think it adds to the dramatic or the cinematic feel that I decided to go with
Moody feel.
today. Is it called
It's
moody?
moody. Yeah.
So why do
feel.
I hear cinematic when I'm watching these videos? They say
Okay. All
for a
right.
more cinematic feel.
Okay. So let me
Break it down. Break it down,
let me put you on to something about
please.
YouTubery. Okay.
The YouTuberification.
The YouTubery. So there is it's not going on as much as it used to, but there were two words that people used all the time because it increased your chances of getting found on YouTube in the video space. It was epic and cinematic. So if you put in there cinematic B-roll, epic B-roll, cinematic lighting, epic lighting, anything with cinematic and epic, some people even use them together. Like cinematic lighting to make your footage look epic. Epic lighting to make your footage look cinematic. All if they were using it so much. It drove me insane. But it was to get views. You're using these keywords in order for people to find you because a lot of people started using those to search.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking for cinematic footage. But if you look at cinema, if you look at different movies that are out there, there's nothing that is off limits. You know what I'm saying? You can be outside in bright daylight. And that's what the whole movie is based around, just being outside. You can call that cinematic. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's using cinema, any lighting techniques, any audio techniques, video techniques that's used in cinema can be classified as cinematic. But people just started using all these other things interchangeably. So your look is actually a little bit more moody. It's a darker scene. It makes people feel like, oh, okay, this is just going to be a dark scene. It's going to be something that's either going to have a lot of emotion in it, or it's going to be a lot of drama in it. You have a little bit of what's called Rembrandt. That's when you get the triangle underneath your eye.
Okay.
Right here. Yeah. So it's different things, but yours is more like a two-tone because one half of your face is really lit, the other half is dark. So these are different cinematic looks. Yes, they're all cinematic looks, but it's just because you're choosing that does not make it cinematic. It's more moody because then you can use another cinematic lighting and everything, and everything looks very happy. There's also cinematic color.
Let's be happy then. Let's be happy. We're gonna go back. I wouldn't have thought that a year from now, I'd have controlled lighting. remote controls and stuff just throwing out. So okay. All right, but now this is good. This actually is going to tie into our discussion on videography. That's your arena. That is, your lane, your specialty, your expertise, and storytelling. Because you just mentioned something just now, which I think is very interesting. The fact that the word, it was a buzzword, is a buzzword. Like cinematic is being used for everything, and just because lighting is dramatic doesn't make it cinematic. Oh, that rhyme. I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna take that. So
just because it's dramatic does not mean
don't make it cinematic, right? And I'm looking at this and saying, okay, so how oftentimes are there cliches in storytelling then? Or even when we have buzzwords that that just kind of, I guess, dilute the potency of what storytelling can be, because everything is just being used with the same word, a cinematic feel. Well, does everything have to be cinematic? That's not rhetorical. That's
really? Oh, no. Okay. No, not at all.
My feelings are hurt. 2 people were watching and then they stopped. But they were watching when you were talking. So you know what that means? I'm going to go ahead and shut up, and you are going to go ahead and take over just as you unfreeze yourself. Not that you have the choice to do so, but as soon as you get back, we are going to talk about the power or the technique of storytelling in videography. All right, guys. So as Theodore is going to be coming back with us. Yeah, we're just going to be talking about this thing. Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay. So yeah. So go ahead and
okay, there we go.
Okay, cool.
Man.
Yeah, so go ahead and break down videography for us. What does videography mean? And then we're going to look at maybe a few types of storytelling techniques, visual storytelling techniques that can be used in the in the videography world.
Wow. So video, yeah, it's such a broad term.
Yeah.
It is such a broad term, even in when you're talking about different people in different positions. You have someone, okay, I'm a videographer. I'm like, okay, well, what is that? Well, I'm a cinematographer. Okay, well, what's that? Well, I am a...
What's the difference between those two? Anyway, no, keep going. Sorry. I'm not going to interrupt.
Well, that goes into it, though, because exactly, what's the difference between the two? It's all... I don't want to say it's like a preference of title, but it kind of is a preference of title. Because you have some people that do not want to be called videographers. They want to be called cinematographers. You have some people that just don't care. Oh man,
is that like saying I'm not a janitor, I'm a custodial engineer?
Yeah. Very much so. Now and it's something that's argued all the time. People are always going back and forth. Well, videographers do this. Well, cinematographers do this. They do the same thing.
Yeah,
they do the same thing. A lot of times, cinematographers that like to be called cinematographers or feel as though they should be called cinematographers.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's because they've reached a certain level in the video cinematography, even Hollywood. They've reached a certain level, so now I'm a cinematographer. I'm not a videographer anymore. Mm-hmm. But they're used so interchangeably. There's even now there's a big we can call it an argument, but there's like, okay, if you only shoot video on YouTube or you only shoot video for YouTube, can you call yourself a cinematographer? You know, that, and so there's just so much that's going on. It's like, okay, we're all creators though.
I like that. We're all creators. What do you consider yourself though? Like,
I consider myself a creator. I do, but I've dipped my toes in so many different many different facets of being a creator. So that's why I feel I'm a creator.
So you wouldn't accept the term videographer? Like that wouldn't be your...
Yeah, I'd accept it. It's not that. It's not something that's as much of a big deal to me. I guess I would, in different circles, I might use the different titles interchangeably.
Okay.
If I'm standing with a bunch of uppity cinematographers, I would say cinematographer. If I'm sitting around a bunch of people that love shooting video, I'm a videographer. Gotcha. So it's but personally, okay, I just create. That's what I do, from graphic design to video. Yeah,
that's good. Because I recently in my founders group, the question was asked, like, so Chris, what do you do? And I said, I'm a business storytelling coach. I was like, oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah. But you are also great with UX design. Like you have a mind for understanding. And I realized, storytelling is a segment. It's a section of or sector of UX design, and UX design is a sector of design. So depending on the context, like you said, or who you're with, just saying you're a designer could work.
Yeah.
Or you know, and then if you have to qualify what kind of design, then it would be user experience design. And if I had to specialize what area of user experience design, for me would be user research. Like that's very specific versus experience design or some other spaces. But then in user research, there's storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's journey mapping and all kinds of other user flows, because those things tell a story, but in a very practical way. So, okay. So I see it now. I understand that you can be a videographer, you can be a cinematographer, and that is all under the umbrella of creative.
Yeah.
So based on where you are and who you're talking to or the context that you're in, you have to know those terms so that you can be relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least be credible in the space, the
in
conversation.
That space, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
definitely.
As a videographer, tell me about maybe the top 2, maybe 3 storytelling techniques, maybe even frameworks that's necessary if you want to make somebody stay on, and for all intents and purposes, since we're on YouTube right now, we're also on Facebook too, to stay on your page, to stay on your video. What do you need? And by the way, plug in, guys, if y'all have not connected with Brian yet, Theodore Brian B. Brown. If you're trying to figure out how you should create or start your video, your channel, or you know how you should do an intro or anything that's dealing with it, you need to connect with this man right here, because he knows how to do it. And you have such a unique way, by the way.
I appreciate that.
The way that you blend humor with it's just practical. Like you use the everyday. I remember the dog was barking and you didn't expect that to happen, you know, and you made it work, you know?
Yeah,
so
man.
Anyway, all of that to say, if you guys have not connected with, or if you're struggling or trying to figure out, like, you know, I don't know how to present myself or what I should even share, or, you know, y'all need to connect with him, because he'll get you right.
Yeah, dude. Right. And I'm glad you brought that up. I was gonna mention it later, but we can mention it both times. I'm actually going to be doing a live workshop on Facebook, and I might put it on YouTube at the same time. Okay. Just about getting your home space and everything set up for video. We are living in live stream world now. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I don't really see things going totally back, because we're able to just connect. And I think business owners, entrepreneurs, corporate people, everybody is kind of seeing, you know what, this is the way of the future. We're able to connect with so many people. Look at so many people working from home now. I don't think that's going to stop. I mean, you know, if you own a big corporate company, you're seeing that you can actually cut down on some expenses by having certain people work from home. But I don't see this stopping. So I'm going to do a live workshop on just setting up your area, setting up your camera, whether it be on your computer, on your laptop, or any other external camera. I'm going to be doing a workshop, let's say probably within the next 2 weeks.
That's going to be good. Listen, I stopped wearing khakis a long time ago.
Yeah.
My basketball shorts right now. Like, you know, you're right. Like, things have shifted. I remember, what was it? Maybe 6 months in, maybe not even. Maybe after, you know, March, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay dressed. I had the collar, the polo, and you just stay dressed, stay professional. Not that, you know, you shouldn't, because depending on the context too.
Depending.
You know, for me, I have some flexibility. I've got some leverage, and so, you know, March hits, and then, you know, April hits, and then, you know, May, and then June, maybe July, August. I said, you know what? I want to be more comfortable. I think I also used to come out with the shoes on too. Anyway, you know, I was recreating the work environment, because I was anticipating that I would be going back to the office within the next 3 to 6 months. And so things have definitely shifted. Y'all, I'm wearing my Crocs right now. And for those of y'all that live in Miami, you know, we wear socks with the sandals on. That's just how we roll. So you know, anyway, I'm stalling just a little bit until Brian comes back. Oh, there he is. I think he's back. So Brian, go ahead and tell us about these storytelling techniques. what are maybe the, like I said before, just the 2 or 3, must-haves that you need to make sure is going to make your video, make your live stream, whatever it is, a success if you have these few pieces, these few elements from a storytelling perspective. And I think that while he is coming back, I will say my approach is you need to have a strong beginning and a strong ending, right? And it's kind of oxymoronic for me because I say strong beginning, but oftentimes the intros to a lot of my videos aren't necessarily that strong per se. I should say they're not traditionally strong. I start off with, and I don't know if this works, Brian, you tell me, but the way that I start off a lot of my lives, it's not like, hey, welcome again. Like I just hit the live and it's like they catch us in midstream, while we're doing something. And I don't know if that works, but I'm just kind of testing out different things. But anyway, I want you to tell us, what are some of the top storytelling techniques that's necessary to have a successful either live stream or maybe even post-production video? Because that's definitely also your jam too. So you go ahead and.
So I don't know if there's necessarily a top type. I think everybody's going to be different because I like how you start yours, like midstream. The conversation's already going. You have some people that like to have their music and stuff playing, kind of like a talk show. As soon as everything opens, music's playing, you see the host sitting at the couch or on the chairs or wherever they're set up, and they're kind of like talking and going on, but their mics aren't turned on just yet. And then all of a sudden their mics turn on, and you hear a little bit of conversation, and they turn around and say, hey, what's going on, everybody? You have that, and that works for some people. I like to do a lot of post stuff, so most of my things are recorded. So I think just everybody has a different style. But what I think keeps people is if you can relate, if it's value is being presented in whatever you're doing. And so quality is a weird one. It's a very weird one because good, shareable, valuable content will trump quality. It will totally trump quality. And I know we've had the conversation where I was saying if it sounds amazing but doesn't look great, people will stay tuned, and that's true. But if you're giving a lot of value, if someone is learning something, if it's shareable, even if it sounds terrible. Well, it can't sound too terrible, because if it sounds extremely terrible, then I won't share it because I can't understand you. But if I can understand you, it's really good value that's being presented. That's still going to catch people. You want to get better as you move on, but so going back to what going back to your question. Sorry, that was a long pause right there.
I thought you froze.
Yeah, that's funny. So I would say it has to be valuable in some way.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's teaching you something, whether or not it's just giving you some type of new information, or giving you old information in a new way. It has to be of some type of quality. It does. Because if it's too dark, I might not watch. There has to be certain quality to it.
How dark we talking?
That's actually
only see your teeth.
Hold on, but depending on what you depending on what you're talking about, that might work. Now this goes into the storytelling part of things, and I don't know.
In a world where there is nothing but darkness, there was once a man.
Something like that. Something like that. But actually, yeah. Depending on what you're sharing and how you're sharing it, that look that you just had might work with your story.
Right.
That's also talking straight on camera versus talking to the side, as far as like interviews go.
Yeah.
depending on what it is. If you want someone to connect with the story, you're going to have them face the camera.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an interview and you want people to really know and understand that this person is being interviewed, well, go ahead and move them off camera.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, not off camera. Go ahead and have their gaze off camera because, yeah, okay, this is an interview and all we're doing is just getting their information. But if you want to really connect with someone's story, you have them look you dead in the eye. Yeah. But this all goes into the storytelling part of what you're trying to present. If you're teaching, look somebody in the eye, because you want them to know this is for you. I don't care if it's 100 people or just one person. This is for you.
Can we clarify when you say look somebody in the eye? That means that they need to look at the camera.
Look dead in the camera. And I always like to say
at themselves.
Not at yourselves. Don't look. And a lot of cameras now have the little flip up screen. Yeah. And when I'm shooting my video, like I have one, but mine is turned, not completely folded back, but it's turned a little offside. So I can't see myself per se. Right. Because a lot of times, like I'm looking at the camera now, but if I look at the little screen to the side, you can tell that I'm not looking there. And it's just
Like if I flip mine up, right? Yeah. And I'm looking at me now.
Yeah.
You can tell. There's almost like a level of it's kind of inauthentic kind of, right? Because I'm talking to y'all, but I'm not looking at y'all. It's almost like I'm looking at a script. So, okay, so let's talk about that. By the way, Miguel, I'm glad that Miguel is on. Listen, he's another one. He's another one, yo.
Okay.
So Theodore, if you haven't been connected with Miguel, like he when it comes to creating and shaping not just light, but also just video. I was gonna say videographic, but that just sounds too wordy.
Videographic.
Spaces. Because it's tuck the screens away. Hey, that's real. That's real.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what is your suggestion? And we're still in the storytelling space where now I have a script, now I want to be able to, and I want to get your opinion after we talk about this on just like what a beginning, middle, and end looks like when it comes to having a tight, video piece, or, just something that is, I don't want to use the word cinematic, but, let me back up. When I'm using a script, how do I use that? How do I implement that if I'm someone who is very meticulous about making sure that I'm not improvising, but I want to make sure that I'm following the steps, following my words. How do you do that while also seeming authentic? Because it seems challenging.
It can be challenging. Of course, if you're recording, you can memorize a portion, do that portion looking dead at the camera. I like to say, act as though you're looking through the camera, not just looking at the lens.
Oh, that's good.
Like act as though you're trying to look directly through the lens to someone that might be on the opposite side of it. Just look through the lens. That's just what I say. So you can memorize the part, look dead at your camera and do that little portion, cut, memorize the next part and do it. That's if you want to look as though you're not reading anything.
Okay.
If you are reading on a script, treat it like, okay. So you're a little different when you come to your speaking. A lot of your speaking, you kind of follow your points. And if you have your points that you're going to follow, look at your points.
Yeah.
Look at your notes. Keep your notes down. When we're sitting up and we're doing things, I always have my little pad right here, and I'm always writing something down.
Yeah.
And I have it there. And while I'm talking, while we're doing things, you're talking at a time, I look down, just make sure, okay, I want to make sure I get these things done. Or I say these few things. Be authentic. If you're authentic with it, it's like, okay, I have my notes here. I don't have to show you every time I sit down, here goes another video, here are my notes. You don't have to do that. But be authentic. Just let people know, okay, this is what we're talking about today. We're going to be going over such and such and such. And I want to talk. Just like if you were standing in front of other people talking.
That's a good point. You know what? So first thing, so Miguel says, he says some people have teleprompters, but eye contact matters a million in digital spaces.
It does.
I think about when you talk about authenticity, you remember back in the day, and you in Miami. So you remember WPLG, Eyewitness News, Channel 10.
Mm-hmm.
What was the man's name? Gerard something. He was the guy who was the meteorologist.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so smooth with it because back in the day, you dare not show your remote when you are doing the whole weather joint, you know. And so he had a way of just like tucking it away, but still doing his thing. And he was like, oh man, the screens are transitioning. He was real smooth with it. That was still authentic.
Yeah.
So it was almost as if we had to describe it, it was like he was extemporaneous, right? It was almost as if he didn't have a manuscript. But then you've got people now, I think the majority of meteorologists now, they just wheeling and dealing with this thing. It's like, yo, so the weather today, the traffic looks like, and it's like back in the day, it really seemed as if that was something that you didn't want to do because it was a lack of professionalism to show the tool that you were using. But that's still a level of authenticity as well. So so we have teleprompters as one. So Miguel hit on teleprompters. What are some other ways? And you talked about authentically, just like having a notepad. And looking down at the right time to make sure that you're saying what you're going to say.
Public speaking.
Yeah.
It's just simple public speaking, which. Let me not put simple in front of public speaking because it's not simple. It's not. If there's that thing that some people rather die instead of speak in front of public,
it's still the number one.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's not simple. I understand that. Going back to Miguel, teleprompters. Yeah, there are people that use teleprompters. Some teleprompters can be expensive for no reason. Some teleprompters are the size of an iPad with a keyboard attachment. Some of those are expensive.
Yeah.
There are a couple of different methods around it, depending on how far you have your camera placed in front of you. You can hang something right underneath it, and it still looks like you're looking. And there I go again. Oh my gosh! Boy, I tell you.
And can I suggest, like, cause somebody did it recently, MKBHD. If y'all don't know who that is, he has been YouTubing for a little over 10 years. He is hit, I don't know how many subscribers, 10 million, I think now. Like he did a B-roll shot of his setup. And by the way, the setup is not like, oh my goodness. Now, mind you, he does have a studio, but he has a whole floor, right? In a warehouse. But the point is, he showed like what it looked like. And guys, it literally was a piece of paper, scotched tape to, I think, the side of his camera or something like that. Yeah, and that was it. It was nothing deep. I mean, and this is a person who you would think he has the money for it, who would have like the teleprompter of teleprompters, so that there's a seamless experience. But yet all he has is a sheet of paper on a little prop right next to the camera, and even he, as fluid as it sounds, as if he's just like rattling it off. If you start to pay attention at these guys, like what they're doing is for the storytelling piece, they're doing a lot of cuts and edits. Some do it more than others. And I think, Brian, you can definitely talk about this, where if it's not germane to the content in general or the value that you're trying to add, cut it out. And so even for these guys, like they do it smooth, right? They'll talk and then they'll snip, and then it'll transition to something, so it seems as if it's just one fluid sentence, but it's like 5, 7, maybe even cuts to just get to the same point or the singular point that they're trying to make. So talk to us about this. Talk to us about, Miguel said, hey, you know why it's happening to you. It's time for y'all.
Utilities fail. Okay, so my camera.
Time for y'all to upgrade.
My camera only goes for, I forget how long. But it goes for a little while, then it shuts down and it comes back up.
Yeah,
but that's why it does that. Yeah, I forget what the timing is on mine. Yeah, it is time for an upgrade though.
I'm gonna start clocking. I'm gonna start clocking you because that was like what, 5 minutes ago. So I'm gonna give you a little. Yeah,
I think it's 30 minutes. I think I'm going an hour before it's shut down. It's all. I think it's also for cooling. I don't. Anyway,
it can be because there's this auto shut off situation. Yeah. So let's talk about beginning, middle, and end. So we know that all stories need to have a beginning, middle, and for public speaking, if you have a strong beginning and a strong ending, there's grace in the middle.
Yeah.
You can fumble. Yeah. Okay.
It's the same. It's the same.
Okay. So talk about that. Yeah. What does that look like in video world? Like what do you need or what should you have? What are some suggestions to have a strong beginning, solid middle. You got to have something in the middle. There's got to be some meat, right? And then a strong ending.
Yeah. So again, it's the same, and well, kind of the same, because you do need to have a strong beginning because you got to capture people. And in the world of YouTube, in the world of video, if it's not strong enough, I check out. And checking out live versus checking out on video hurts you more, because if I check out on your video, I might never come back. Where if you're live, you're doing something, and you do something that brings everybody back and has everybody laughing, or has everybody intrigued, and I'm sitting in the audience, I'm just like, yo, what just happened? What just happened? You can't do that in a video, because once I lost you, I could lose you forever. So your intros should be strong. And a lot of people like to talk about exactly what they're going to be doing. I don't really do that in mine. I just try to have sometimes is comedy. Sometimes I try to find.
You're good at comedy, by the way.
Appreciate it. Sometimes I try to set up a situation of intrigue. That's what I try to do at the beginning of mine, and then I have my short little intro clip, and then I kind of go into what I'm talking about. And then now holding people, okay, that depends on you. I try to be entertaining. Even with what I'm talking about, I try to be as entertaining as I can to try to hold you all the way through. Mm-hmm. I actually do not have an ending in and I think that's kind of my ending, because I don't have one. I don't have a sign off. I let you know I don't have a sign off, and I sign off however I'm feeling in the moment. Doing things like this where we're live. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going back to the almost like public speaking, because we want to make sure that there's good stuff in the middle. Yeah. But if someone kind of like just jumps on and I'm doing one of my thinking pauses and I stop because I got to think about something, and I just lost 3 people. You know what I'm saying? So it's harder, in my opinion, when you're doing things live, but that's the beauty of live. And I think anytime you can really get live down, I think recording is going to be cake. I really do. Anybody that's more of a performer, you can do live. I don't care who you are. If you're a public speaker, if you're a performer, you can do live. Yeah. Recording, it's easier because you can cut, redo. Anything you don't like, you just totally cut it out, redo it. Live is a lot different. So when grabbing people live, I think it's all about your beginning and all about your meat. Okay. And your endings, not so much, unless you really want to make sure that people tune in for something else or whatnot. Okay. So your endings, when you're doing things live and recording, I think should set something else up, either setting people up to come back because they enjoyed what it was, or setting people up, pretty much pushing them to another date when something else is coming up. So if something else is coming up.
Okay. Hey man, they watching. Yes,
sir.
They watching.
Yes, sir. That's my baby right there. That's my rock bass right there, man. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. That is my thumper right there.
Yeah. So again, like he plays it. Yeah. Definitely. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about this idea that now obviously it may seem kind of random if people don't know that you are also a musician, right? How do you shape, or how should you shape your presence online to reflect how much of your personality should shine through? Oh, so man. Let's use me for an example. So when I switched over to having this, this background, I had no idea what I was going to use. So I just started using things around me, right? Like, let's be real. Like I took a little plant that I had when I was from WeWork, I was like, well, I got to have something. Took my lamp from a room, and even now I'm just like, However, the whole book thing, that's cool. Yeah, some people, the bookshelf thing, that's. Yeah. But what are some ways, or what would be your suggestion for how to, I guess, sculpt this space? And we're both minimalists, so I think that we appreciate the idea of doing just enough to give a message, right? Spatially as well. What's your take on that? Like, how much do you need to really sell a space, so to speak?
So with this, yeah,
Is that true? A lot of musicians transition well into digital imaging. So we're having like two conversations right now.
I'm going to answer that, Miguel.
I'm about to bring. Hey, Miguel, if you set up, just let me know, man, and I'll send you the link too.
Let me write that down and go back to that.
Okay.
Cool. So with your space, and I'm going to be actually talking about this in that live workshop that I'm going to be doing with your space. And putting yourself in that, because I think this all goes into branding. As you and I have talked about, I'm trying to build out my office here where I can kind of have 7 different sets, if you will, upstairs in my office.
Okay.
So that's a backdrop. We all know, well, not we all know, but that's a backdrop just like yours. I've had that sitting in the back. I saw when you use yours, it's like, oh, that looks tasty. Let me try mine. So I set mine up, but I also want 3 others. I want a gray background. I want a blue background. And then I want a black background. On the black background, I'm going to be able to cast different lights to it, changing the look of everything. Then I have I'm pointing like people can see it. Then I have another set that I use when I'm doing a lot of my YouTube videos, which is where the camera is facing this direction up against this wall where you can see my stairwell coming up and things like that. So I think you have to think about, well, I should say my suggestion is think about your personal branding and whatever it is that you are trying to become. Like if you are a real estate agent, a real estate agent can have either one of our setups. Right. Yours, you got the plant there, the lamp, it's all sitting over your right shoulder. Right. Someone can use that. The lighting, maybe change up the lighting a little bit more, depending on what type of real estate you're selling. Change up your lighting, make it a little bit brighter. What is the look and feel that you want people to
bright?
To see? Yeah,
bright?
It could be that bright. Probably not that one. Probably not that. Hey, that's overexposed.
This is blinding, actually. Let me go back to that.
So it really depends. So what are you trying to portray? Are you trying to be someone that wants things to be like real happy and bright, like how you said? Because if you want things to be happy and bright, you're not going to have your lighting down low. This is not going to be your look. This is too bad. I turned it all the way off by mistake. This is not going to be your look if you want things to be happy. So you're not going to do this. You're not going to wear all black if you want things to be that happy and bright. You're going to brighten things up a bit. So depending on the look that you are, the brand that you're trying to build is going to depend on, I got to see where, I can't see my numbers in the back. Let's see if I can bring it back to where I thought it. I think that was it. Yeah, look good. So it depends. I kind of like the moodier looks. So that's why I use this.
Define moody. Break down for those of us who are just like, what are some words and define those words for us so that we can and maybe just do 3, of the kinds of immediate. I really think it's immediate messaging. And what is the immediate story that you are prepping people for? So for instance,
I like that.
Yes. Okay. So for mine, you call this, it's a moody feel. It's not cinematic because cinematic is an overused buzzword that means absolutely nothing anymore unless you are doing, something. But so you said that this is a moody feel. What does moody mean? And just give us like a few others.
So moody, because of when you just think of somebody saying, oh gosh, you're in a mood, you're thinking that someone is in a down mood. And that's not what it is. When someone says it's going to be, I just want a real moody look to it, they're meaning they want to bring things down as far as your lighting. They want to bring that down. They want to bring the lights down, have more of a dark feel. Dark and moody get interchanged. Sometimes they're used together. I want it to have a really dark, moody feel, which is kind of funny because you don't say I want it to have a bright, moody feel. You just say I want it to be bright. So you have I want things to be bright. I want things to be calm. And I want things to be moody. Those are, you'll hear those a lot.
Okay.
So someone wants to have a bright feel because you bring things up.
Yes, break. Okay, so break those down. So listen, for those of you that are just checking in, and I got to do better with this whole. For those of you that are just checking in, this is what you need because it's live, right? So so we are talking about the nuances, the techniques of storytelling, and how it relates to videography, particularly live streaming, particularly post-production videos. And no matter what kind of video you're doing, it's all the same, right? It is. You need to have the strong beginning, middle, end, but you also need to be able to help people to anticipate the kind of story, so to speak, the kind of video that they're anticipating that they should expect. So Brian just broke down 3 just now, and I love this. So we're now talking about from a visual standpoint without you even saying anything. Everybody's quiet on the set. Mm-hmm. Somebody checks in, and there's like 3 kinds of looks. Atmospheres. Right. Environments. Yeah. You said moody, daylight, and you said another one. So just go ahead.
Moody, bright, and calm.
Moody, bright, and calm. Y'all better catch these in your spirit. So I'm gonna try to sculpt these as you're talking. So maybe that might be helpful. I gotta stop talking less because the more I talk, more people just stop watching. So you go ahead and talk about it, and then I'll do it, and you kind of guide me through how I should be doing this.
So your looks don't always say what your video is going to be about. It will say more about who you are. Ooh. Versus what your video is going to be about, because I could be in this look right here and I can be doing nothing but tech reviews on YouTube. I can be in this space and I can do nothing but classes and courses. And I can give courses on anything. I can be doing it on stinking needlework if I want to. But this is going to be more of my brand more so than what I'm going to be talking about.
Okay.
And maybe depending on what you're talking about, your brand should kind of fall in line with your look. But that's not always true, because if I'm doing photography and video, you're going to see a lot of photography video guys have a very similar look. It's going to be more dark, more moody, but some people really like that bright look. Your lifestyle people, a lot of them have a brighter look. My wife, she watches one YouTuber named Lavender, and her thing is it's a bright look, but it's very calm. The color she uses, the tone of her voice is very, very calm. If you search for like minimalism, minimalist, all those people, their design is on the brighter side a lot of the times, and how they speak is I pick at them when I'm watching, because almost every last one of them talks very low, very calm, almost monotone, but
and what look? And what look do they have?
A lot of times the look is a little brighter than what we have going on right now.
Do they have like pastels in the back? And
some of them have pastels. Some of them.
So
not all of them. Most of them, because they're minimalist, is going to be like a black, white, beige. Most of them. Some of them do have a little bit more color. And then your lifestyle guys, a lot of times they're a lot brighter. Okay. Some of them actually do a lot of their videos sitting on their balconies, out in some field. It's very bright, greens, purples, reds, and things all over the place. So it depends on the brand and on the look. Sometimes. And this is something that my business partner and I, we kind of, hey, Miguel, what's going on, man? See, Miguel, he is totally different. Look at it. He's all bright.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at him. He got the greens going.
Yes. This is a great example. This is a great example of like just even branding. So because you just said the mood or the visual environment, the atmosphere doesn't necessarily depict what you're going to talk about as much as who you are as a person. Yeah. We just moody people. Yeah. Miguel's the bright, calm one. Like,
look at him. We all in the blacks, and then he got the dark skin. And Miguel up there smiling. He got. Is that a real plant in the background, Miguel?
No, man. No, sir.
Oh, okay.
No, sir. Right. I think we got it for like $5 at Target.
Got you. Yeah. I'm gonna take my downstairs.
Same one. Target, bro. Target.
Target, man. Target. That's it. That's it. But you mentioned something earlier about having different setups for different looks in the same space.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the concept that I took. So this is the latest addition to my wife is a YouTuber as well.
Okay.
So this is the latest addition to our look, and we're actually going to flip it. We're going to flip it around in a second. But depending on the time of day, because this is a window right here.
Okay.
It's a massive window.
That natural light coming in. Like
right.
That.
Nice natural light. I might put my back towards it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like kind of a light wrapping around from the back. Just a one light setup, right?
Okay.
It's just a different feel and different times of day. It works. At night, this is mostly black. I can then use my color lighting to give me a total color background. Same thing with the shelf behind. So one thing we had to learn because of the pandemic is we didn't ask for this. We didn't think we would be creating content in a pandemic. So we had to use the space, use the props, use the different stuff. So some stuff we had to buy in the pandemic.
Yeah.
But we had to figure out how to reinvent the space that we're in to get the look and the desire that we're looking for.
Yeah, and that goes right into what we're saying. It's like what's the brand? What's your brand looking like? Because when your wife shoots her videos, they're kind of bright and nice as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even
brighter.
Even brighter.
Yeah.
My wife's videos, we normally shoot those downstairs because it's a lot brighter downstairs, and we do use our big sliding glass window. We use that for the natural light, and we put a lot of oranges, greens, purples, and all that stuff in her setup. And it's kind of calming because we also have a couple of candles that kind of are lit in the background sometimes. This is mine, man. And when I'm facing the opposite direction, I like depth in mine. Because I love how far back the plant in the bookcase behind you is sitting. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't have that much space, so a lot of times when I'm up here, I like shooting to a corner so I can get that depth. So I mean, it all depends on the brand that you're trying to build. It really is dependent on that.
So
that's huge though. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So now that you're on, Miguel, so we were talking about the kinds of beginnings, middles, and ends that you can have for just for a video piece, even if it's live streaming. I remember, us talking over the weekend about preaching in manuscripts, right? And even how that may have something, and we were just talking about public speaking. So let's transition. So Brian, you were just hitting on the kinds of atmospheric scenes you can have. So you've got the moody one, which isn't moody as in like Debbie Downer as much as more dramatic. Is that would that be? Okay.
I like
dramatic is a better
okay.
term.
Dramatic.
And then you've got bright, which is definitely what Miguel got right now.
Yeah.
But then you also got calm. So what is calm? And then we'll switch over to beginning, middle, and ends. What does that look like? Because
so calm is going to be more in your color choice. So probably not as bright as Miguel. You're probably going to bring that down just a little bit, and then the colors that you're going to use around you are also going to really make someone feel a little bit more calm when they're watching. So Miguel is almost there. What he have, it's there. I mean, he got the voice going and everything. So he's almost right there in that calm space.
Okay.
He was probably maybe a more tungsten color light was sitting behind him, kind of like the ones that I have behind me. That color would be sitting behind him somewhere, but you're going to bring it down just a little bit. Just like if you're feeling more calm, it's not going to be super bright. You're going to bring your lights a little bit dimmer. It's on the verge of sexy, just not that dark.
Gotcha.
I like that.
On the verge of sexy.
On the verge of sexy. It's not that dark.
And it's about the color temperature of your even your camera settings. You can mess with that a little bit, depending on your skin tone. That's one of the things that I learned as it pertains to lighting, because we don't really think about lighting unless you're into the space, but what kind of lighting am I using? Is it bringing out the warmer tones of my skin?
Yep.
And then I work on the background, right? So what colors make me feel relaxing, right?
Yep.
So for some people, it's a little bit more red, or like you were saying, orange or earth tones. It might be a darker room with spots of lighting, and using lower, even your voice, you know, a lower register. You're speaking in softer tones. You're speaking directly into the camera. You're reassuring, just telling people, "Hey, it's going to be a great day."
Yeah,
I'm laughing because that's exactly what Brian did earlier.
I'm telling you, that's what it does.
So it's a total package. It's a total package.
It really is.
You can't have me on the calm piece. I
don't get calm too much, man.
It's late night radio. That's what it
is. Yo. Okay, so beginning, middle, ends. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts? How should people be crafting even their live streams, which seems so impromptu, improvisational? How do some people make it seem so fluid, like easy and engaging, and then others it's just like, what's going on? What are y'all? What is happening? Y'all let me know, because I've got two greats now that's on the live. I don't have to say nothing. As a matter of fact, I just blow up one of y'all at a time, not me. How we do this now? How we I don't even know how to do this.
Yeah,
Miguel, you know how to
I don't. Not with StreamYard.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
I don't want to do it like that.
The whole screen.
All right. But yeah, what are your thoughts on those? The beginning, middles, ends, just crafting an entire storytelling, like just experience where people, you just take them on the journey, and when they're done, they feel satisfied. What's that like for you guys?
Okay, so I think I'm more of a novice than Theodore in this space. But what's been working for me is a couple things. One, as you see, when I enter, I'm trying to create energy. You know, my entire look is about creating energy and interest. What's going to spark the attention within the first 3 seconds is going to make people click their video, right? And I'm talking about going live, because I'm not on YouTube. So I think it's the same principle when it comes to preaching. When we were in church, when we were in the building, you were competing against the person sitting next to the listener. You're competing against their phone, their devices, their children, their spouses. You're competing against all, you know, this limited amount of distractions, right? Now that we're out, you're competing against the next tab over. You're competing against all the thoughts going in their head. And so you have to be captivating, and you have to create and build that suspension. So I'm going to go live this week about health. Everybody doesn't want to talk about health, nor the health journey. And then, you know, I'm not fit. So I have to create a relationship with my listener to say, hey, I am not an expert. I am here to speak as someone in the journey. And so I have to create that inviting, warm feeling. Let's talk about the struggles. Let's open up. And that requires me being vulnerable about my own situation. So people will feel like, okay, well, we could talk about it now. You know, we could talk about the struggles and the stresses and all this kind of stuff, and our relationship with food and working out. And let's create these hurdles. So I am not your expert. I am your fellow sojourner in this space. And so that's the same kind of tactic I take, because yes, I'm a pastor, but I'm also a Christian. I am not the standard. I am working towards it. I just happen to be the one God chooses to bring us on the journey. Right. So as a pastor, I make sure that I am not presenting myself as Christ on earth, reincarnate. That's not my job here. My job is, this is where we're going. And so that's what I do with my live. I also, you know, on the authenticity piece, for me, I struggle with, my attention span is limited. You know, I see stuff and I want to make a joke. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to be my authentic self on the live. I just started getting into the music thing. Somebody touched on this yesterday. Countdowns crush my soul. Oh, they hurt. They hurt because I'll see somebody go live and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna click on this because I love how they, and then I gotta wait 10 minutes.
At the beginning of the really? Oh my goodness. Wow.
30 seconds, I'm cool. I'm cool with 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30
I'm
seconds
cool.
is fine. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
30 seconds. I go, grab a glass of water or whatever the case may be and be back.
Yeah.
But 10 minutes,
yeah.
No interaction.
10 minutes is reckless.
Yeah. Anytime I see anything over 30 seconds, I just leave. A minute. I waited for a minute. But I'm gone because what am I waiting for? Because I think,
what are we doing?
Just go live. Just go live. If you're 10 minutes,
just record. Ah man, I think Brian froze on this. Yeah, that's okay. He's gonna come back. So let's talk about we'll continue.
Yeah.
So it's the strong presence, the middle, and then the ending. What that looks like for you.
So the ending, because of my training in ministry, my ending is typically centered around one or two things. I want you to reframe something.
Okay.
And that might not be me per se, especially because we're going live. That may not be me offering.
You hit that.
Oh,
I think that might have been like,
okay. Gotcha.
Residual.
Yeah. It may not be me offering the solution. It might be us together as a group on live, creating the solution, the action plan, the reframing. And then there's also a call to action. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to hold each other accountable in this way. And so my messages are geared towards that. What are the call to actions? And for YouTubers, your call to action for everybody should be, please like, share, subscribe. Bare minimum, that's your call to action. And you don't wait to the end.
Yeah, okay. I was going
to state that. Yeah. No, you don't wait to the end. You got to state that multiple times throughout the,
that's something I suck at. That's now maybe it's because I don't I'm not really focused on YouTube, I guess, like that. But yeah, I don't do the call to action telling people, yo, make sure you share this or at least like it. And
like it or check out my website.
I gotta train myself to in between that. Maybe in Clubhouse where they do their whole refreshing the room.
Yeah.
Same thing with the live.
Resetting the room.
Resetting. And the same thing like where on the live to remember to let people know, hey, for those of you that just came in, this is what we're talking about. I take for granted that even if I have a detailed description, that people are going to be reading the description or the title before just clicking on it or and people don't read. So
there's a guy that I follow on YouTube with camera related videos. And one of the things that he does, and I realized that it didn't even bother me it didn't bother me at all, actually. He plugs his products at least 2 or 3 times in this video. Like his t-shirts and photography, videography, he plugs his presets. And he does it so seamlessly with his content that I know what he's selling and I expect that he's going to do this 2 to 3 times.
Yeah.
And I'm not bothered because he uses his personality to sell his stuff and it's not an abrupt drop in or ad or whatever the case may plug, whatever you want to call it. It's seamless, it's comedic. It's refreshing. He has the same energy as what he was talking about before. There's no drop off, or he doesn't talk about it with elevated energy. It's the same thing. And so finding ways to put in there what you want people to do. If it's go to my website, check out this link. First of all, you got to believe in your product.
That's real.
Like that's the foundation of it. Believe in whatever it is that you want people to do. If you think there's content, I know you're a phenomenal writer. Man, you should be telling people, hey, man, go check out my stuff.
We're going to do it, Miguel. We're going to test this out right now. Let me go ahead and share my screen. See, now I'm doing the most, right? Because you ain't supposed to be doing that. But that's okay. This is why we're doing this.
Right.
To share this thing out. So, hey, and if you got a website too, Miguel, let me know so I could. So, ladies and gentlemen, not yet. But we're going to work on that.
Not yet.
So, this is the Bartlett Group's website, ladies and gentlemen. And the whole idea is for you to not only tell a better story, but for you to build executive trust in the healthcare space. But if you are not a healthcare individual, If you're not a healthcare leader or executive, that's all right too, because we got something for y'all as well. This latest course that has been or is being created is designed, y'all need to see all that. That's like pre-Canon days. Is to help you to learn how to tell your story in 3 simple plot points. All right, our boy made it to the page right now. And so yeah, y'all go ahead and pre-order the course. You probably are asking yourself the question, well, why would I need to order anything like, why would I need to invest in anything like that? The reason is simply because a lot of us have the fear of speaking. That's still the number one fear, I believe, right? I think it's next to the fear of death. It's in the top 2. Let's put it that way.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Yeah. The top greatest fear, if not death, is public speaking. Sometimes I think they vie for each other. Like, so just imagine next to losing your life, it's speaking in front of a group of people.
Wow.
And it's been like that for years, for decades. Right. So this particular course is really designed to help people to, when somebody asks, so what's your story? Or so, how did you start this company? Or hey, whatever it is, you have a strong beginning. You get to take them through the journey, or you hit that climax piece, and you tell them, I think our boy Brian is back.
Yeah.
They hit that climax piece, and then eventually you get to tie it up with a bow and let them know this is why, this is how I got to where I am. So anyway, just so y'all know, I did a shameless plug. Brian Miguel was talking about the plugins that we need to have. so I pulled up my screen and my website. I was like, well, let's just do it right now. Let's go ahead. So anyway,
you did a phenomenal job, brother.
Thank you for the one person that's watching right now, according to stream.
Right now.
It may
right
be.
Now. That's now.
And that one might be the one.
Hey.
I think it's me. I think it's me because Facebook is on. So I'm like, you know what? Anyway.
It's all right.
So Brian, Miguel was hitting his last piece. He's talking about the strong beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And he for the beginning piece, he more so approached it from the look and the feel. And I think that's what we talked about too. I don't know if you hit the middle piece, Miguel, but you definitely hit the end piece, which is the call to action, which shouldn't technically be only at the end.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if it's almost as if the live stream experience is a cyclical beginning, middle, end, beginning, middle, end, beginning, because there's always a call to action. Because, and this is interesting, not everybody's going to sit and watch the whole hour piece live.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if you have to have mini stories in the entire experience, so that when somebody logs off or signs off or scrolls through, they at least got something along with the call to action. You onto something. I didn't even. Okay.
Yeah.
Theodore.
So let's assume that people
good.
only listen for 7 minutes. Let's assume that.
Yeah.
Every 7 minutes, you need to go through that cycle again.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I don't have the actual number, but
I'm writing that down.
Just assume.
Yeah. Well, with that, you wanna kind of pay attention to your. This is when you have to go into your analytics. See how long people are actually sitting on your videos. Once you know that, then you can start crafting. Okay, well, people only sit on my video for like 4 minutes. People sit on my video for the 7. So once you know that, you know how you can do that. But I think that's if I don't want to say if you're pushing something. If you have a true call to action, you can do that.
Yeah.
Because you have guys that like to do these giveaways, or they're doing whatever it is. Their thing is about building intrigue up into the giveaway. I have a friend of mine who does I guess these info style videos where they talk about what was one of them, top 5 fastest military vehicles in the U.S. So he'll go through 4 of them, then tell people, if you want more videos like this, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And then he says, and number 5.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it does things like that, or number 1 if he's going backwards. So there's different ways to do it, but I like that one. You have your beginning, middle, and end every. Refreshing. Once you find that number, that's good. Yeah, that is real good.
I don't know if you talked about that before, Miguel, but that's
that is good.
You should go ahead and do something with that. Go ahead and do something with that.
That is nice. Cyclical CTAs.
That's what I got from. It's a combination of Clubhouse and YouTube. Just learning from my wife's, YouTube journey. You see how the attention span on certain content, and you kind of cater it towards your audience. So depending on what you're releasing. So I enjoy car stuff on YouTube as well.
Me too. Yeah.
So one of the channels that I like, because they're very cinematic in their content. they're not just pulling out cameras. They're actually telling a story. Their videos are like 20 minutes long, and they only release one video a week.
What channel is that?
This is Gears and Gasoline.
Gears and Gasoline. Okay.
Gears and Gasoline. But because it's a longer form content, I literally watch every single one of them, and I'm that guy for that audience.
Yeah.
Now there are other YouTubers, car YouTubers that are doing insane stuff, and they're, just trying to get the most shock value available. That's not for me. That's not my thing, but I enjoy the storytelling, and I don't mind sitting to 10, 15 minutes or 20 minutes of a video. And so your audience, and it's better to niche down than it is to try to be everything to all people. At some point you lose your authenticity, and people get frustrated with you because you're no longer leaning in their direction, and that's where you start to have identity crisis in your storytelling.
Man.
Yeah, Ryan told me an example of one person who is a notable YouTuber who started vlogging, and because of that, I don't know if the viewership declined, but people were kind of like, we're not really feeling this.
Actually, okay, so the guy that I was talking about, Miguel, you might have heard about these two guys if you've been looking in the creative space and just trying to learn more tips. Peter McKinnon and Matty Hapoya, his best friend. They actually did one of their podcasts. I think it was last week. And they were talking about that because they both changed how they used to do their videos. They started doing a lot of reviews, a lot of tutorials. They don't do that as much anymore. And Matty Hapoya is the one that started doing the more daily vlogging style, and Peter McKinnon has kind of gone in that direction. It's because they've just evolved. And yes, they've seen their subscription rate go down. It has taken a downturn.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you guys were really getting into videography, you wanted to learn more, and I say, oh man, Peter McKinnon, he's who I learned from, and you go to his channel right now, he just did one where he just sold all his camera gear not too long ago. He did another one about how his office is set up, but he's on a totally different level now. The camera that he uses costs I think it's a $24,000 camera. So it's he's on a completely different level. So it's if I tell you guys, you guys need to check out this dude. It's just what am I supposed to learn from him at this point? But it's oh man, you got to go to his older stuff. But that's not what a lot of people say. You got to watch Peter McKinnon. You go there and just or he's out on his one wheel, cruising around Canada, talking to some of his friends. It's what is this? It's still good stuff. He's a great storyteller. Really, really great. Yeah, he's awesome at it. Matty Hapoya, his brother works for him now, and they go back. They're corny, but people love it. But same thing, the subscription rate has gone down. But that's okay with them because they've evolved as YouTubers. So it happens. It does happen. It happens a lot, in fact.
Wow. So the idea that your personal branding can shift, but okay. When does it become identity crisis? Because I think the last time we had a conversation, we said that as long as it's consistent, that's what's going to make it the brand. If I show up in this with the same setup or the same kind of lighting. That it's part of not maybe the brand, but it's part of the brand because people now have a level of expectation that when I hit the live camera, the live button, there's going to be a look that they're expecting, that there's going to be maybe certain topics that they'll anticipate that I'm going to cover. So what happens when I'm trying to figure that stuff out? Not the person who has evolved as an established YouTuber or an established whatever industry, and now they decide, okay, I'm going to try my hand in something else. Let's dial it back. What about the person who hasn't really found their footing at all, and they're trying to figure out what their story is or what they're going to do, and they're just like shooting all over the place? Is YouTube, this is such a rhetorical, but I want you guys to answer it. Is YouTube, is live streaming, is that the place to do it? To be all over the place and to just try to figure out who you are?
Oh, I'll let you go first, Miguel. I have a totally different feel or thought on this one.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. It depends on the content, honestly. But yes, you gain traction, you get ideas. You can, depending on your personality and your time and all that kind of stuff. You can speak directly. Look, 10 years ago, people paid a whole lot of money to be able to speak direct to consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can literally turn my camera on, turn my lights on, and the people that consume my content can give me ideas, and I no longer have to be in the driver's seat all the time. I can decide and filter out what I'm willing to do and not do. But I can get direct feedback from my consumers or from my community. And so that is a great way to do it. Also, man, speak to the people around you. Make sure, for me, authenticity is one of my top virtues. I don't want to do something that's outside of my character. And so the way that I make sure is that I bounce ideas off of my friends and family. What do you guys think about me doing so and so? And sometimes my family and friends are pushing me to do things that I'm like, oh, you sure? That's what happens.
Yeah, it does.
My first time going live last year, my brother was like, you need to do your own show. I'm like, that's not. But yeah, live is a way to do it. Now to kind of carve out what you want to do, I would ask, what are the end results? What do you want? Are you trying to just become YouTube rich, like start a business? You're trying to get $1 million a year off of YouTube money in the next year? I would say, man, dissect those goals down and start to work backwards. Okay, I want to build a business. How much time do I have? What's the niche that I'm in? If you're trying to do that by having a channel that's doing reviews on antique coins, I'm not sure how likely that will be. But figure out, like, okay, is there room in this space? What aren't people are doing in this space? What are people looking for? But maybe in, like, for example, Peter Mckinnon. Okay, Peter McKinnon's not doing this anymore. That means I can fill that same spot that he left.
Yeah.
So everyone can eat. And I liken this to, like, if you watch National Geographic, you watch, like, whales and sharks and how all these different species are swimming around each other. And I was always fascinated with why these fish are, like, surrounding these whales. Well, what the whale consumes, what it needs to survive, it'll bite off and it'll leave the crumbs. And the fish around it survive off of the crumbs that the whale doesn't need. If you're trying to grow,
that's good. I like that.
There are whales in the industry that you might feel like it's competition, but in reality, they might be opening paths for you that you don't even recognize. So, for example, again, we're in the car thing. I realize there's not a lot of people doing family car reviews. I only know of one channel.
Look at that.
But who are buying cars? People are like, it's not all 20-some-year-olds with no family. There are people with families. You got to consider your wife. You can't just go out and buy an M3 two-door and you got car seats to consider, right? And so you gotta start catering this content towards areas areas of gaps, I should say, where people aren't filling in, and you want to figure out how to get there.
Wow, that's
that's good. I wrote that whale thing down. That was good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like real. I like that. So my thoughts on this are very similar, but I also have a couple of other thoughts. When you know what you want to do, I think it's easier. When you just know, going back to the guy or the person that might want to start an antique coin channel.
Yeah,
I actually think it can work. I think there's a space for everyone. It just depends on who you're talking to. It might grow slowly. It might grow like extremely fast. You just never know. With anybody getting on YouTube, I always say you just never know. It has a lot to do with your personality. Some people just get it and get it quick. Peter Mckinnon was one of those guys that got it and got it quick. Yeah. Going back to him and his best friend Matty Hapoya, Matty started before Peter did, and Matty and Peter just blew up. There's another dude very similar to those two guys in that space, Peter Lindgren. He blew up very fast as well. So it really depends on your personality, how you're presenting things, and the authenticity of it all. But when you don't really know, you just know, okay, I want to get on YouTube. I want to do stuff. This is the realm that I kind of want to play in. But I don't know exactly what. I haven't niched down. I haven't focused. That's when I say, kind of like what you and I spoke about, Chris, I say just get on there and start dipping your toes and stuff. Mm-hmm. I was watching, man, I can't remember the guy's name, but he had someone on his show, and he was interviewing him. He was likening it to dating. When you are, if you're going out to date someone and you're sitting there like, okay, I know exactly what I'm looking for. This is who I'm going to go after. This is where I want them to live. This is where, and you kind of like go after this person. You have your list written down. Yeah, you can go out and try to find that person. It might take you a little bit longer. It might not. But this is where you're going. Or it's just like, you know what? I know I just want to be in love. I want to find that person. So you go out, you ask somebody out. You guys go out to Starbucks. You get yourself a hot cocoa, get them some water.
I love the imagery.
You know what I'm saying? And you sit down and things are going okay. And then you go out again. Things are going all right. Then all of a sudden, just like, oh, man, she has bad breath. So you move on and you go and you date someone else from a totally different place. You guys have a good time on that first night. But you don't want to call her again because she's boring. So you kind of like just start dipping your toes in different areas as you're trying to build something and find that person or find your channel. Why? This is where I want my channel to go, because I think a lot of the learning and growing happens in the doing.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times we get into this mode that I have to have it all figured out in order to get on, in order to do, in order to start. In order for me to take this journey, I have to know where I'm going, which is not a bad thing. It's not bad at all. But sometimes it's like, I know I want to get to New York. How am I going to get there? I don't know. I just got to start walking north from where we are. I just got to start walking north. I know if I go north, I'm going to get a lot closer than if I sit here and just kind of like
do nothing.
Yeah, and wait on the bus or whatever it is. Like, let me just go. Yeah. So my thing, and this is what I was telling you, Chris, try all your ideas that you have, try them. And I would say this for anybody else. All the ideas that you have, you don't know exactly what it is, just try them. Yeah. In the doing, you're going to kind of figure out, okay, I like doing this. I don't like doing this. This is great. I might not do it all the time. I just say get moving. Because that's going to help you grow. That's going to help you get better at this. It's going to help you find your style even. It's going to help you find your voice. For everyone that kind of knows what they want to do, okay, you guys have a little easier road. Just go and get it. For everybody that wants to but doesn't necessarily know, I would say, well, okay, if you have an idea of the different things you would like to do, try each and every one of them. Especially when you have no subscribers and no viewers.
You got nothing to lose, man.
You got nothing to lose.
Hey, listen,
nobody's watching.
That's how we're gonna end this. Listen, for those of y'all that are still trying to figure out what you want to do, you probably don't have. Listen, I know this sound. You probably don't have any followers anyway.
No.
So go on ahead.
Just do
make all of the mistakes. And because you know what? Nope, I'm not even gonna qualify that. Just go on ahead. Go on ahead and do it. You have nothing to lose. And I'm gonna just smash the end broadcast because we done. Hey, y'all go ahead and watch this. If you guys are just tuning in, just watch it from the beginning, watch it from the middle, because I think that we recycled every 7 minutes anyway. So hey, we out of here. This ending was terrible.
Wait. Before you go.
Okay. Yes, please.
Go check out Chris's website.
Yeah. Man.
Hold on. Check out Brian's too.
No.
Check out what Miguel is doing.
No.
We just go. But yeah, hey, listen, for those of y'all that really do want to understand more of the nuances of business storytelling, go to bartlett.group.
Yes, sir. There you go.
And and we'll set you right. All right, y'all.